Battletoads in Battlemaniacs, a game that has been in my possession for as long as I can remember. I played this quite a lot when I was younger, and even though I couldn't get past level 3 for literally years, for some reason I kept coming back to it again and again. Understand that this is a Battletoads game, so I'm hoping the majority of you understand what's up with the time frame in which it took me to beat it. So I did finally conquer it just a couple of years ago, and I've been kicking its ass ever since. That is, until I picked it up again recently. So I've been determined to conquer it once again, and today I'd like to share what trials and tribulations I went through over the years to get to where I am now as a master of Battletoads. Alright, so when it comes to a game like Battlemaniacs, the actual story isn't crazy important, but it's not that long, so I'll go over it quickly for you guys. The Battletoads, Rash, Pimple, and Zitz, have been summoned by their chief, Professor T. Bird, to their hideout so we can show them a new virtual reality game system created by the Cycone Corporation. This is known as the Gamescape. During the demonstration, shit gets a little too real when some enemies from within the Gamescape manage to escape and kidnap the leader of the Battletoads, Zitz, and the daughter of Cycone's CEO. So now you, playing as either Pimple or Rash, have to enter the Gamescape in order to rescue them from the clutches of the Dark Queen, and oh my god, what the hell is that? This character is the antagonist known as Silas Volkmeyer. I don't know what this guy is, but he kinda just shows up in the opening cutscene, and spoiler alert, you never see him again. Which I don't mind, to be honest, considering his appearance. And with that, the game begins. You can go solo playing as Pimple if the controller is plugged into the first slot, and as Rash if it's plugged into the second. For co-op, there's two modes called 2 players A and B. The difference being that in mode B, the players can't hurt each other this time around, as opposed to the original Battletoads on NES, in which you had no choice in the matter. Frankly, I think they should have removed the option to hurt each other altogether, but I suppose that's just me. I don't know, do people like the challenge, or want to hold on to that old Battletoads authenticity from the NES? It's really annoying in my opinion, and I can't stand playing this mode. But anyway, let's move on. Honestly, Battlemaniacs has a damn fine looking world. Sprites like these will always be appealing to me, no matter how far video games have come. Even though there's only 6 main stages, the levels are very unique from each other in their environments and layouts. I've always loved the atmospheres created within Super Nintendo games in general because it brings me back to a simpler time in gaming. No installation before you play or massive updates, just insert the card, turn on the system, and game on. This game's soundtrack is another thing that will take you back too because, oh man, it is full of that 90s SNES synth guitar sound. The soundtrack in Battlemaniacs is a compilation of rock music, and man does it get you pumped to play. It follows you throughout the whole adventure, and it's so fitting to all the different areas you're taken to, which are just as great. There's really a nice variety of vibrant and unique levels here. I will say the only one that threw me off was the setting of the hoverbike stage. I don't know where the fuck this is supposed to take place. Like, am I on the top layer of a lasagna, some peas and purple stuff? When I was younger, I thought it looked like some sort of grocery store vegetable section. Yeah, don't judge me. This game is pretty weird actually, but that's kind of the theme and where its humor comes from. Like the finishing moves the Toads use right before defeating an enemy with the hyper-exaggerated features. These used to crack me up, and it just gives you that extra emphasis and oomph on that final attack. The horns are my favorite. I mean, come on. The Toads themselves are pretty humorous too, what with their cartoony reactions and expressions. Hell, even when they're getting killed, which will happen a lot, is pretty funny to watch. Dear God. Okay, that one's a little less funny. Nah, I'm kidding. Play it again. Either way, the world of Battlemaniacs is great because it brings you that pure, simple essence of gaming in the 90s, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm always down for that. Now, let's get into what really makes this a Battletoads title. The gameplay, of course. Now, this game's controls are pretty simple for the most part. You move, you jump, you have a few different ways of performing attacks, pretty simple stuff. You also have the ability to pick up and throw enemies, which is cool, but there's really no place to use it after the first level, unfortunately. I mean, what you see here at the beginning is a classic beat-em-up setting, but that changes pretty quickly as you progress. It stays a beat-em-up for the first 2 levels, and it's pretty enjoyable. You start off side-scrolling across a magma-ridden canyon, fighting off waves of baddies and avoiding pitfalls and spewing lava, complete with a boss at the end. After that in level 2, you're descending down a tree on these cool anti-gravity disc things, again pummeling through waves of enemies and avoiding the hazards that appear throughout the stage. This level is followed up with a cool little bonus right after, in which you can grab some extra lives by collecting as many blue and red bowling pins as possible. They're really fun levels, and I would definitely recommend playing them with a friend. Up until that point, that is, because as soon as that's over, you're dropped into the most infamous stage in the franchise, the Turbo Tunnel. This is a level that returned from the first game, and here it's harder, faster, and trickier than the last one. Now what you need to do to survive the turbo tunnel is dodge and jump over the rapidly appearing walls, hit all the ramps to make it across the gaping pits, and watch out for all the other shit they'll throw at you. I don't know how else to put it. In the later sections of the stage, they'll start doing more tricky shit, like spawning platforms in midair to get you into jumping at them. It's full of these stupid visual tricks and hidden extra walls you won't see coming on. Hold the phone! I thought I died in that pit of olives or peas back there. I'm supposed to see that thing? And I'm supposed to use it to jump back out? Who the fuck would know? You'll need skill, precision, and some serious determination to beat this level, cause it's going to take some time. It can be a nightmare, and many will agree with that statement, but despite all that, it's not the worst this game has to offer. Oh no, that has yet to come. So after beating the turbo tunnel, you take on level 4, the snake pit. Here you have to latch onto the moving snakes in order to navigate your way to the end of the level, making sure you're on the right snake at the right time. Honestly, I think this level is harder than the turbo tunnel in terms of, well, I'd say difficulty, but it's more bullshit than anything else. You think memorization in the turbo tunnel was bad? At least in there you have a second or two to react to what's coming next, so you can kinda maneuver your way around the upcoming obstacles. But here, you have to know exactly where the snakes are going to turn and how fast they're going to move, not to mention memorizing the positions of dozens of instant death spikes along the way. At a first glance, this level seems so basic, but it's so frustrating. There are 4 areas in this level and each lasts about a minute without dying, so you have at least a few continue points along the way. But it feels like it doesn't even matter when you realize how quickly you're losing lives. And even when you do manage to reach the end of the level, there's something you gotta watch out for at the end too. I remember when I got to the end for the first time and I saw the exit sign. I was so excited I just barreled towards it, but then a few final spikes appeared, so instinctively I ducked as soon as I saw them. Now since the last part is an ice area, sliding mechanics are present, so all I had left to do was slide to victory. But then I stopped. I got stuck. Just before I reached the end, I was stuck with no way of moving any further with those last 3 spikes hovering over my head. And so I died and had to start the game all over again. It's hard enough to get so far and you're gonna throw that shit at me? And I was already having a hell of a time trying to remember all the other crap in the level that by the time I got to the end again, the same thing happened! Oh my god, I think I need to take it down a notch. So if you managed to get through all of that nonsense, then congratulations, you beat the snake pit and made it to level 5. But when you see what comes next, you're going to wish you hadn't, trust me. Alright, so this is definitely the hardest level in the entire game, no question. Trial and error again? You bet your ass it is, and it's cranked the bullshit lever to the max. Welcome to the 5th level in Battlemaniacs, also known as Tractors. So you start off on this rickety looking roller coaster track holding onto these jet propelled handlebars, and you need to press the D-pad in the direction you're facing to accelerate. At the same time, you need to jump and duck when necessary to avoid falling or hitting walls to keep your speed constant. What's the catch? All of this must be executed whilst you're being chased by Fuzz the Rat, who will cut you in half, dick first, if you fall behind. Again, another example of a simple concept, but it's extremely difficult to beat. You need to remember all the turns and obstacles to maintain a constant speed, because even one slightly mistimed button press will slow you down and end your run. One single screw up is all it takes for Fuzz the Rat to catch up and fuck you up. And you better be prepared because there are no continue points. You need to beat this level in one go, which is going to be quite a task because you won't believe how quickly your thumb will get tired from trying to keep up with the game's speed. After a while, you'll start to get sloppy, so ideally, you'll want to beat this level in as little attempts as possible because after a while, you just won't be able to keep up. I got so sick of this crap that in order to beat this level for the first time, I used both of my thumbs on the D-pad while quickly switching my right hand back over to the buttons whenever I needed to jump. Now that is ridiculous, but hey, it worked. And now, I have no need for such ridiculous tactics. I am now a master of... Okay, I still use it sometimes, fuck off. So after that hell, you're so generously granted with another bonus level, only this time around, it's a bit more difficult to grab lives. This game just pulls no punches, does it? In this new stage, you travel faster down the board along with the enemies, so you have to be more careful about dodging and getting used to their new patterns. You're also collecting red and blue dominoes instead of pins, and there are a lot more hazards this time around in the form of black dominoes. Other than that, it's the same as the last one. 200 points lands you an extra life, and you won't actually lose any lives from dying here. I am glad they at least give you another chance to get some lives in this game, but I think it would have been a hell of a lot nicer if they placed this bonus stage before the roller coaster level. Then again, I should be so lucky that I can potentially get lives again at all, because you only have a few times to do so in Battlemaniacs. For example, in stage 2, if you punch the wasp enemy 6 times in a row, you'll hear and you'll get an extra life. Unfortunately, other wasps can get in the way and can actually hit the wasps you're working on, and if they manage to sting your wasp on the 6th attack, you'll actually lose your chance to bag that life. I know that unfortunate circumstance sounds pretty rare, but it happens quite often since the only time you run into these enemies are in huge clumps, so they'll be attacking you from all directions as you're trying to get more lives, sadly. This game is just ruthless. Other than that, there's also a cheat code you can use at the beginning of the game to get 5 lives and continues as opposed to the standard 3. You do this by holding A, B, and down at the title screen, followed by pressing start at the same time. And finally, like I mentioned earlier, there's the bonus stages that give you 1 life per 200 points, and in 2-player mode, it actually gives you 1 life for only 100 points. Not that it'll make that big of a difference, because trying to beat this game with 2 players is an even greater feat. Anyways, back to the ongoing adventure. After the bonus stage ends, you're brought to the penultimate stage of the game, the Dark Tower. In here, you have to race Scuzz the Rat to the bottom of the level and get to the explosives before he does. And that's pretty much it. The catch? You have to do it 3 times. There's 3 segments in this level, each more difficult than the last, and Scuzz gets faster each time. Not only that, but once again, the level has to be beaten in one go. If you get blown up by Scuzz at any one of the 3 races, it's back to the start. Now, believe it or not, I actually really like this stage. It's challenging, but it's not stupid unfair. And again, I gotta say, I just love how much the levels change up in this game. And of course, I have to mention the music again here, because this is easily my favorite track in Battlemaniacs. You get the feeling you're so close to the end of the game, but one last challenge stands in the way. You need to get to the bottom and you gotta do it fast. That's the sort of rush I feel when this track plays. It'll take some practice to conquer this one stage, but ever since I beat it for the first time, it's just been a breeze, and I always look forward to playing it again to see how much faster I can beat it. Well, after traveling so far, you make it to the final level. What waits at the bottom of the Dark Tower is a final confrontation with none other than the Dark Queen herself. This is the moment I've been waiting for. I've been through all of these other horrendous challenges, and I'm ready to take on this, no matter how tough. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? This, my friends, is unfortunately what the whole game was leading up to. Quite a disappointment in comparison to the rest of the game. I wasn't looking for an impossible final bout, but come on! It's just a pixelated image that teleports from place to place with one form of attack. Really, all you need to do is avoid the skulls by keeping close and attack her when she appears. She's not that much of a threat. This final boss just comes off as lazy and is very much unlike the rest of the game. I really don't have anything more to say about her. After landing the final blow, the game is finished. You've rescued Zitz and I guess the girl, but that's not made clear as she is nowhere to be found. All that's left to do is shoot down Silas Volkmeyer, who tries to make a final escape. Whether or not you take him down, both he and the Dark Queen are nowhere to be found at the end of the game, as the final screen will inform you. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes Battletoads. Not a bad game, but damn is it frustrating. You should play with another person and have some fun with it, but if you want to try to get through the whole thing, you're really gonna have to buckle down and get ready to replay the crap out of this one. I will guarantee, however, that once you do beat it, it is extremely satisfying to say the least. You get that feeling of accomplishment and know that you've got some genuine gaming skill. Beating a Battletoads game is quite a feat, and you deserve those bragging rights if you manage to do so. I guess that's why I like coming back to this one. It's like my own little trophy I can look back on, you know? Well, when I beat the original Battletoads is when I'll really feel accomplished, but I'll save that for the future. So until then, thank you guys so much for watching this video of mine. It was really a joy to create. Subscribe if you want to hear more from me in the future, as I hope to make more videos like this one. Alright guys, peace out.